Hello everyone, my name is Imani Combs. Today I will be completing my presentation on Dr. F. Charles Mace. Alright, so who is Dr. F. Charles Mace? Well, he's the smiling guy in the corner over here. He is a licensed psychologist and decorated contributor to the field of applied behavior analysis, and he has focused his work on the functional analysis of rigid behavioral disorders. So he is the recipient of many prestigious awards, such as the American Psychological Association's Don F. Hake Award for outstanding behavior research and its applications. I was unable to find an exact retirement date for Dr. Mace, but I range his activity from being between the late 1980s and the early 2010s, just based on the research and his online activity that I've found. Okay, so let's talk about Dr. Mace's education and career. So he received his PhD from the University of Arizona in 1983, and he has held a variety of positions. So a few are, for example, as the editor of translational research for the Journal of Experimental Analysis of Behavior, editor-in-chief of the Journal of Applied Behavioral Analysis, and president of the Society for Experimental Analysis of Behavior. In addition, he has held many faculty positions, including positions at Rutgers University in Washington, D.C., University of Wales in the United Kingdom, and University of Southern Maine. So as you can see, he's held a variety of positions inside and outside of the United States, which I found very impressive. So he's done a lot of different things over his roughly 30 years of continuous work in the field. Okay, so his contribution to literature. So Dr. Mace is highly cited. He has published over 100 articles and books. He was at one point rated sixth in productivity among behavioral analysts. And he has focused his life's work on, again, the functional analysis of severe behavioral disorders, behavior momentum, and matching law. All right, so I will be discussing functional analysis because I found this to be heavily present in his research. So let's define functional analysis. So functional analysis and applied behavior analysis is the methodology for classifying behaviors according to reinforcement contingencies that maintain them under well-defined conditions. So when you have functional analysis, as I will show you on this slide, we have a variety of conditions, our independent variables that we are testing our behavior, our dependent variable across. So this is just a basic example of functional analysis. So the behavior here is tapping behavior, and over here we have our various conditions: control, attention, alone, intangible, and escape. And as we can see, we get the highest rate of the tapping behavior in the alone condition. So I will be reviewing the following articles listed here. So I found self-interest behavior to be a prevalent severe behavior that is being studied in Dr. Mace's work. So we have Mace and colleagues 2001, Mace and Muke 1995 to give us a view on self-interest behavior. In addition, I found bizarre speech to be prevalent, and we have Mason Lawley 1991 and Mason colleagues 1988, and then I thought I would wrap it all up with a literature review by Mace alone 1994. Okay, so let's look at Mace and Muke 1995. So in this study, a functional analysis was used to classify self-interest behavior as either biological, meaning underneath the skin, such as a neurological issue, or operant-based, meaning it's maintained by environmental contingencies, or mixed, meaning there's a bit of both controlling the behavior. So the findings found that by creating a model that classifies self-interest behavior by the contingencies that maintain behavior, this can lead to the development of targeted interventions and a lower rate of failed interventions. So by designing an intervention that is based on the contingencies that maintain the behavior, we are able to lower the rate of failed intervention. And we know when we're working with our population, that is very important that our interventions are based on research, that they're based on testing, so that we're able to build the most accurate interventions and interventions that will work initially for that patient. And again, I provided a functional analysis. So as you can see, we have the operant, self-injurious behavior, biologic, and mixed, and we see that we get the majority of patients are classified as operant, and we see that their behavior is highly maintained in the attention condition. Now we're going to discuss Mace and colleagues 2001. So in this study, a functional analysis was used to determine whether or not self-injurious behavior maintained by environmental contingencies would be better treated by operant or antipsychotic methods. And we had 15 subjects who were admitted for treatment of self-injurious behavior. And we had a variety of conditions, including attention, tangible, reinforcement, escape from task demand, alone, control condition, tangible reinforcers, and no task demands. And what we found was that over 80% of the subjects improved under environmental contingencies, which means that they are their behavior is operant based, so it's from the natural environment. And then we're going to move on to Mace and Lawley, 1991. So this is our first of our bizarre speech articles, which I was very excited to read through. Our first subject was a 46-year-old male with moderate mental retardation, which we would bring that term to present times and say intellectual disabilities. And how bizarre speech was defined in the study was that it was self-talk, off-topic statements, bizarre comments occupied by body movements. So this is how we are defining it in the context of the study. And findings found that experimental analysis found that bizarre speech to be attention-producing, so it was being maintained by attention. And they were, and then a functional analysis was able to find two equivalent treatments. So overall, both treatments were effective in reducing the behavior, and we were able to discover those treatments by first establishing what was maintaining the behavior. And as we can see, we have our functional analysis, our conditions, our behavior, and we're testing to see which condition is maintaining this behavior. Okay, so now we have another bizarre speech article. And for this one, we had a female subject, 29 years old, again with intellectual disabilities and also diagnosed with schizophrenia. A functional analysis was used to determine whether or not a relationship between bizarre speech and environmental contingencies existed. And the results found that there was less frequent instances of bizarre speech during one-on-one interaction with attention. And so because we were able to identify what was maintaining the behavior, we were able to develop a more minimally intrusive intervention that had generality. And we know that in our field, it's important that when we do our work, it's based on research and that we are able to take our findings from the study and that they're replicable, meaning that we can implement them with other patients in other settings. So again, we have a functional analysis and we're testing the different conditions. And again, we see that right here, we get the lowest rate of bizarre speech with the one-on-one interaction. And lastly, we have a wrap-up. We have our literature review. So we found that behaviors are developed by individuals through interactions with the environment and that history determines responses to treatment. So we know that we are all individuals, that we have different behaviors in our repertoire, and that is shaped by our history, what we've come in contact with, and our life experiences. And that functional analysis has really revolutionized the field. We are able to now identify what contingencies maintain behavior so that we are able to design these effective treatments to meet the needs of our patients. So we have seen these improvements in the field. We have seen positive change in the lives of patients, and Dr. Mace's work has really helped to embody the overall goals of ABA by creating by his dedication to the treatment of socially significant behaviors. Before Well, here are the articles I used for this presentation. I want to also mention that I did attempt to contact Dr. Mace for an interview, but I have yet to get a response. And if I do, I will definitely update this presentation. But I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you learned a lot about Dr. F. Charles Mace. Thank you, and have a great day.